My name is Andrew McClenaghan. I'm president of Digital Echidna. We're about 80 people strong now, professional services firm focusing on large-scale, ambitious digital experiences, largely in the open space, open source community space, specifically technology such as Drupal.
Great. If London could do one thing to improve the business climate for you, what would it be?
I don't know if it's necessarily about me per se, but let's say a younger Andrew McClenaghan. For me, it was all about the tech industry and London being able to create more chances for collisions, running into others, learning about what others are doing, more collaboration. I mean, it's natural that'll happen in the business community, but there are initiatives the city can take to induce those or increase those chances of those collisions happening.
Can you give me an example of what that might look like?
So long before I had gray hair and I started this company, there was the promise of the incubation center, some sort of place where technology organizations could come and collaborate and, again, have a hot desk, a shared space, whatever it's called, largely modeled after Communitech down the road. So at times, there's been money set aside for that. I think small progress has been made, such as even something in the private industry, such as what you've done here. But that was always the promise of a London-made solution from council and the city at large. The things we are doing well, networking events, mixers, that type of stuff. But even where are they located, how frequently are they happening? And the nature of the people that seem to start the tech companies, I think I'll speak for you and me, we're naturally introverted. It's not something that we really think, oh, I totally want to go out and meet people. So creating those types of events that are perhaps not grip and grin, stand there with your one drink in the corner. I don't know what those are, but those types of events need to be kind of facilitated, and people need to be dragged out of their basement to some degree and put into these environments.
It's interesting. A lot of in the tech world specifically, you hear stories of the engineer or the tech producer that starts the company, sees a need, and develops technology to do that, but they don't have the other skills to get out and build teams and that kind of stuff.
That's me exactly, and even the ability to meet those individuals that can help that technician, that engineer on that journey. That's really what a lot of us need. So when I talk about what I need now, it's very different than what I needed 10 years ago, and perhaps I always think I could be further along faster if I had had those types of connections.
Awesome. What's one advantage that London has over other communities, specifically for tech companies?
I'll try the tech-specific answer, but I guess the general answer, as I see it, is it's cheaper to fail here. It's cheaper to start here, try things out. That's from a just simply cost of living perspective, availability of real estate, etc. That's why I started up here. I had a connection here originally, but in retrospect, it makes a lot of sense. It took me almost 8-9 years of freelancing, doing other people's projects before I figured out what we should actually do, which created the kind of accelerated growth that we're on now in the last decade. So that to me is number one. Obviously, great city to live in. Some sort of transit initiative underway. We'll determine what that is in the future, but it's slowly evolving, as you will. But again, I just think I can't imagine doing a startup in downtown Toronto, and it's just like, all right, our runway is 7 days, and you're like, let's see if this works or not. And you're like, oh, it didn't work. Okay, we're dead. Like that seems even more stressful than what we're doing here.
So something I pulled out there. You spent 6, 7, 8 years maybe just experimenting with what your business model would look like. Is that a fair way?
Yeah, absolutely. For us, it was. So I came back from Waterloo, and I had one project to start the company, but if you had $500, like I figured it out with Google. I was pulling wires, installing printers, rebooting routers, all that type of stuff. It was really about figuring out what I should get into. And at the time that we found, essentially we left London to do a conference kind of offsite and uncovered this technology called Drupal. And I was exposed to what other companies across North America were doing in that space, the clients they had, and just the size and scale of them. And I was like, wow, they did this by doing one thing really, really, really well. So I came back and said, okay, that's our way to grow, is we need to expand our service offering, or sorry, we need to narrow our service offering, but expand our market size, and that enabled us to get clients further and further away. So kind of luck, as all good business stories, but it took me a while. It took me a decade to learn that lesson. Maybe people were telling me in the London business community I wasn't listening. I'm not really sure what, maybe I was just in the right time and space to have the aha moment.
Okay. So then, I mean, I think, I've heard numerous different times, focus in on what it is that you're good at. I appreciate you added a couple really's in there to not totally steal steam whistles.
Yeah.
It really is.
I do like that beer, and it's definitely in my subconscious.
Are you coming to any of the Tech Week activities? If so, are there any particular events that you're looking forward to?
The Techcellence Awards ceremony is always exciting, learning about new businesses. Similar to the Business Achievement Awards, I'm often standing in the room watching the videos on the finalist presentations, having never heard of the companies, and I'm just like, this is a problem. We all need to know what everybody else is doing. We have Business London, we have London Inc. They're doing as good a job as they can, but across the entire city. But telling these stories, making sure people understand, perhaps just not on the marketing side, but on the technology side, enough of what's happening and creating those collisions. That's where it's all at. So the Techcellence Award is great for that as well. It's nice to see companies recognized for the work that they're doing, especially when a lot of them fly under the radar, because perhaps their market for where they sell isn't actually in southwestern Ontario.
So, yeah, and I sort of a neat segue there. Congratulations on winning
Thank you.
Large Business of the Year award. I can't remember who won it last year. Was it Northern or
Northern Commerce? Yeah.
And
and then Start before then.
Start,
so we're on a technology company run.
We were medium business in 2014, and Atmos was small business.
Yeah.
2014. There does seem to be a lot of tech companies winning the larger awards at the Achievement Awards. What do you think that says about London's technology sector as a representation of the business community? Or why do you think the tech companies are winning these types of awards? Do you have any thoughts on that?
There's something that seems to be, I don't know, again, I'm not in other sectors, so I'll preface my answer with that, but winning the Business Achievement Awards is not just about economic, top line revenue. Mm-hmm. It's about CSR, growing the local economy, engagement with the city as a whole, which seems to be a trait that our tech community is developing. I don't know if that's because we need to be scrappers and we need to be out there doing all the things. I'm not really clear why that would be unique to our sector, but it seems to be a trend, and that's really the types of organizations that the Business Achievement Awards focuses on.
I think from my experience and recollection, it focused a lot on, the award focused a lot on the well-being of the people, like how you treat your people, how you treat your community. Is there something in there that maybe tech companies, because it's such a competitive landscape for talent, that tech companies, either the ones that are successful have that in their core, or they have to develop that in their core to just treat people in the community better so that their reputation can grow from
Good point. Yeah, I wonder if it's chicken and the egg, but yeah, absolutely. It's getting students right out of Fanshawe, Western, bringing them in, making sure you can retain them. You have to make sure we have a enjoyable workspace, obviously, such as a beautiful space like this. You have to have the type of work that they want to work on. So there's a lot of work around retention and recruitment. I would say that is unique to the tech sector. So we all got to be super nice, and that bodes well for being recognized for being great employers.
Yeah, one of the interesting tensions there, I don't know if, again, chicken and the egg, are you a great employer and that's what makes you successful, or do you have to learn to be a great employer in order to succeed in tech? I think you kind of answered this, but I had a question. Is it important for the technology community in London to connect? Why or why not? You talked about the need to create those.
Yeah, I really think it is, simply because we can all be so heads down in our technology. We can be we look to the U.S. a lot. U.S. for us is obviously a large market that we're continuing to expand into. They're often the canary in the coal mine. I'm not sure what the positive opposite of canary in the coal mine is, but what is happening there often is going to happen in Canada in 2 or 3 years. So connecting and understanding what others are doing throughout North America and abroad, let's say North America is our focus, how else do I learn that firsthand? Because when you don't have the personal connections that you get one-on-one with other business owners, you're often looking at the polished marketing version of how companies are doing. So everyone always looks great on the outside. Their website says they're doing well. I find the connections that I've grown here in this community, but also in Southwestern Ontario, and then again North America large, have really helped me shape my business. And those connections are almost exclusively other business owners that are dealing with the same challenges that I'm dealing with in non-competitive spaces. That's, again, sometimes that's luck, right time, right place that you get into those organizations, but I believe it's something that the city can help foster. It's something that the province and the country at large can help foster. The tech communities here in London is creating those connections for those that just aren't as extroverted to go get them themselves.
And I guess last maybe question is around the support systems that exist in the ecosystem. So there's a small business LADC, Innovation Works, and Pillar, Tech Alliance, obviously, a bunch of different other supports.
Yep.
As a person who's grown your business, have you used any of those types of services? And if so, how have they helped grow the business?
I think a lot of those organizations have come into maturity over the last decade. For the first decade that I ran my company, I did different things and got out there, and they definitely helped. It's very hard for me to quantify to what degree, but that's where I created many of these first connections. And then to some degree we almost pulled back just through busyness, or I'm not really clear why we pulled back. And now I still want those organizations to continue to develop, because it's really not about, for me per se, our focus group or focus on outside organizations seems to be like Export Development Canada and BDC, and it's just like this next level. We're still in the tail end of a growth phase basically versus startup phase, and those organizations still need to grow the next generation of companies like mine, so we definitely want to support them.
Great. Anything else that you want to add?
Thanks for having us.
No problem. Well, congratulations again on the
Thank
award, and keep doing the great work you're doing.
It's definitely a team effort.
I heard that maybe you're on the mayor's slate for.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, your speech I wasn't able to go to the Achievement Awards, but your speech was. People are already. Andrew, what is it? 2021.
Oh goodness.
All right.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll end it there.
Thanks.
Thanks.